Good afternoon, and thank you for joining Police Commissioner Kevin Davis and me today. We have convened this press conference to announce that as of yesterday, Monday, June 20th, at 5 p.m., the BP gas station located at the corner of Forest Park and Windsor Mill Boulevard has been closed and padlocked as a result of pervasive illegal activity, and the business has been deemed a public nuisance. Businesses should be an asset in our community, and unfortunately, over the past several years, the Baltimore Police Department has documented numerous incidents of crime at that location. The lives of patrons and citizens have been placed in danger due to criminal incidents which were condoned by the management of this gas station. It has finally come to an end, and we are working with the property owners to restore integrity to this establishment. In the interim, the gas station will be closed for, you're going to tell me how long? Right? So it will be closed, and any violation of the padlock order is a criminal infraction which is punishable by fine or arrest. We rely on our businesses and our business community leaders to be law-abiding, and we expect them to create the types of amenities that positively impact our neighborhoods. That positively contribute to the quality of life of our residents who live in surrounding neighborhoods and the city at large, and this was not the case at the BP station. The types of criminal infractions that have taken place here are unacceptable. They're unacceptable to me, to the police commissioner, and to the surrounding community. Padlocking this location shall serve as a lesson that businesses cannot be complicit with crime. It will not be tolerated. To the residents of Forest Park and the surrounding communities, we have heard your concerns. We will continue to do everything that we can to build safer communities for you and for your families. I'd now like to turn it over to Commissioner Davis, who will provide more details about the closure of the BP gas station. Commissioner?
Thank you, Mayor. And this particular business may be closed up to 1 year. We don't anticipate it will be closed that long. We're working very, very closely with Carroll Fuels to get this thing up and running, again, in a very legitimate way. But just going back to 2014, I think it's important for the community to know the types of crimes and issues and incidents that your police department has responded to. 2014, in March, a narcotic violation. A suspect was arrested for selling drugs on the parking lot. July of 2014, a citizen's debit card was stolen at the gas station. In October of that year, an aggravated assault, a customer was assaulted at the gas station. In 2015, in February, there was a destruction of property. In February as well, there was a robbery. A customer was robbed at gunpoint inside of the business. In May, a handgun was found adjacent to the property. In May as well, there was a non-fatal shooting at the gas station. In June of 15, there was another shooting that was based on a robbery. A customer was buying gas and was robbed and shot in the parking lot. In July of 2015, we had 3 victims who were shot on the gas station parking lot. September of last year, there was another assault. In September as well, there was a murder. October of 2015, a car was stolen from the parking lot. In November of last year, there was another homicide. December of 15, there was a robbery of a victim at that location. And this year, in 2016, in January, there was a serious assault at the gas station. In January as well, 3 handguns and drugs were recovered from inside of the gas station. So, like the mayor said, we have heard numerous complaints from concerned citizens and businesses in the area. We want to thank so many of them, and I think you're going to hear from Reverend Foster Connors from BUILD very, very shortly about their role. Closing a business is not something that this city, this police department does lightly. We are business friendly, but we are also not going to be the path of least resistance for a business owner who wishes to be complicit or to be compliant in nefarious criminal acts. So I exercise my ability to use the padlock law to put an end to this, the lawlessness that has been occurring at this gas station at the intersection of Forest Park and Windsor Mill Road. Carroll Fuel, like I mentioned, they are the property owner. They've been a partner with us recently in identifying alternative solutions. Up to this moment, we are continuing our conversations with them to get this business back open for this community. That will include a security plan and new management so that these same violent crimes and quality of life concerns never occur again. And I'm going to turn it over to Director Smith.
All right, I want you guys to follow along. I'm gonna have to stand at the podium so you can pick it up on audio. But this is a video, bear with us, about 2.5 minutes. And this is the culmination of things from back on January 26th when 3 guns were recovered. What you're gonna see in the video, and I'll walk you through it, are suspects that are basically camped out. You'll see a hand-to-hand drug transaction. The police will arrive. You'll watch as the police arrive. One of the suspects, who is armed, takes his gun out, puts it in the turnstile. The clerk spins the turnstile around, retrieves the gun, and secures it while the police are coming to the premises. So this is just a culmination of events that our officers were dealing with out there at the BP. So what you're going to see is a man with a gray jacket walk up, and he's going to be making a narcotics purchase. That's this guy here. This guy over here is going to reach into what's known as dip area in the front of his pants to retrieve the drugs. Once he gathers those drugs, he in turn gets it to the person who is purchasing them. So right now, this guy called him in. This guy is in to make the deal, and that's him reaching into his dip to retrieve the drugs. And for those of you watching on social media, this is what we call a classic hand-to-hand drug transaction. As soon as the transaction is made, money's exchanged, the person who bought it is out the door and on to use his drugs or what have you, and the suspects go back. So now at this point, you're going to see a police cruiser pull up. As you can see the guys start moving around, they see the police car coming. The guy over here is taking his gun out. We'll have a better view for you very shortly, but the gun is now in the turnstile. The officers are walking in, clearly a dangerous situation. He surrenders himself basically pretty immediately. Officers go in, they observed some of these actions from outside the business, and they secure all 4 individuals who are operating inside the this lobby area of the store. So the next frames are going to give you different angles and slow it down just a bit so you can see what happened. Once again, the guy that's moving is the guy with the gun. He's reaching in to retrieve his gun. He steps in front of the turnstile, which is right here. Puts the gun in the turnstile. This is the clerk on the other side of that turnstile. Spins it around, retrieves a loaded handgun. And to illustrate how dangerous of a situation the officers were in that day, 3 of these guys were armed with guns. This is the one that was put in the rear of the business at this time. All right, so what I'm going to do before we go into question and answer is introduce our co-chairs from BUILD, Reverend Andrew Foster Connors and Reverend Glenna Huber, for some remarks.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of BUILD, I want to thank Commissioner Kevin Davis, Major Byron Conaway of our Southwestern District Commander, and Carol Fuel, as has already been named. Without them, none of this would have been possible. From BUILD's perspective, this is a historic day. From day one of his tenure, BUILD called on Commissioner Davis to work with communities across Baltimore. BUILD pledged to work with Commissioner Davis to make our communities safe. He pledged to work with BUILD to rebuild relationships, to rebuild trust, and to act together to take back our streets and to build one Baltimore. Today's victory is one result of our joint work. The Baltimore City Police Department, local businesses, and citizens citywide took action together to close down a notorious drug corner that has plagued our community for generations. This is the first time in a long time that a gas station has been padlocked in Baltimore. We all know these are very difficult times. Our children continue to be killed in the streets nearly every day. Tensions still flare between residents and officers and between officers and residents. We are a long way from where we want to be and where we need to be in stopping all of the violence and in establishing trust between the police and the entire community. But today's victory shows that Commissioner Davis is a leader who understands public relationships that are defined by holding each other accountable to be our best and to do our best. And together we delivered. This padlock sends a powerful message that Build, BPD, and ordinary citizens are uniting together to make our community safe and to stop this senseless violence. It demonstrates that we can work together. So let's build on this small but important win to put the safety of our children and their neighborhoods at the top of all of our priority lists. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
All right, and real quick, we'd be remiss if we didn't thank Mr. Rob DeRozier from Baltimore Housing Authority, who was instrumental in this process, Mr. Glenn Marrow and Mr. Mark Dwyer, City Solicitor's Office as well, who really were instrumental in this process. A real quick summary of some noteworthy padlock cases from the past. The Linden Bar and Liquors, 904 West North Avenue. This started back in July of 2008, had a conclusion back in 2009. Club 410 on 4509 Bel Air Road. That started in 2009 as well. And Shirley's Honey Hole, 2300 East Oliver Street, back in 2009. And Sweet Ultra Lounge Club Crush, 1 East Chase Street, Unit R1. And that also started back in 2009. So just wanted to briefly put those cases out there that you're probably all familiar with.
Let's just open up for questions.
All right, any questions?
I believe that those cases you just mentioned were some of the last, if not the last, instances of a business being padlocked. Why was this tactic put on the shelf for 6 years? And why is it something that you're bringing back out now?
I can't speak to why it was put on the shelf. What I can say is I've been a big supporter of using this tool that we have in our toolbox. I know that we had several tools in our toolbox, and other tools have, we've tried to use other tools to shut businesses down. I'm just pleased to be able to work with a commissioner and a department that really understands how to collaborate to get the padlock law enforced again. I think it's a very useful tool and constructive tool when used correctly, and this is certainly a great day for the Forest Park community and the surrounding areas.
So, Kevin, ultimately, it's the police department's responsibility to be aware of the tools that are available to us and to utilize those tools. So when you have gun-toting drug dealers who take over this gas station as if it's their sovereign piece of property, it's our responsibility to take action. So that's what we're doing.
Sir, can we expect to see this tactic more and more? Because Kevin was talking about was under Commissioner Beal felt it was a big to-do that they were going to start being aggressive with the padlock law. And after a couple of cases that you mentioned, it did kind of just go away. Are we expecting to see this come back, that we're going to start using this tool a little bit more often?
Well, the tool's always been available, and we'll use it when it's appropriate. And when we do use a tool like this, everyone's going to shake their head up and down, like, yeah, that's deserved, that's appropriate, that's necessary. And we exhausted other means to try to work collaboratively with that business. So this is one of those head-shaking moments that everybody in the community is standing together saying, yeah, that they hurt our community. So I've got some significant experience doing this elsewhere in Maryland, and it is an effective tool to padlock a business that's a detriment to a community, and it's something that we won't hesitate to do in the future.
It takes a while to build a case, no?
It does.
Under surveillance for how long? How long did this take before you guys were able to say, let's enforce the padlock law here to start this way?
Well, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of collaboration. It takes a lot of attorneys. It takes communication between the mayor's office and the police department and the community. Because ultimately, if the community doesn't think it's the right thing to do, then it's not the right thing to do. So, we've worked and had many meetings and many conversations with all the stakeholders, and it's not a scientific formula, but we know it when we see it, and it worked out this time.
You talked a lot about community policing in recent months, in the last year. Obviously, this is a tactic that has drawn some criticism in the past, including from the broader business community, specific to the applications of it in regard to specific businesses. Obviously, every situation is different, but in understanding that past criticism in trying to build community policing, was it a deliberate approach of yours, and can you describe it, if so, to first make connections in the community with community leaders before you step forward and put the locks on the door?
There has to be engagement with the community, and we have to use the right tool at the right time. When you take a look at the crimes that are related to this business in particular, and the ones where it is very clear that they're complicit, it became very clear to the commissioner and his team that the padlock was the right tool at the right time. We had the buy-in from the community, the immediate community, and the community at whole, because this is on a thoroughfare that is widely used in I guess it's west, south, west, and southwest, northwest and southwest. That's where the districts meet, and this had been going on for too long, and there had been numerous attempts to work with this business owner, numerous unsuccessful attempts to get them to do the right thing, and when they did not, we had to take this step.
Kevin, it also takes an engaged district commander. So Major Byron Conaway has been out in front of this. So this isn't necessarily just done from headquarters. It's done out at our 9 district stations. And when Major Conaway became aware of this long-standing problem and the fact that it continued to prevail, he stepped up, and he was a real leader for the police department in the city.
What does the owner have to do to be able to get this padlock off? What are you guys looking for?
Well, a number of different things. They have to identify a tenant that will act in the best interest of the community. We certainly, Baltimore is a business-friendly city, and when other businesses look at what this BP gas station has been up to, I don't think we'll get any disagreement that padlocking this place was the right thing to do. So they have to be a good neighbor. They have to comply with all state and local laws. They have to, live up to the expectations of not only law enforcement, but expectations of the community. People get their gas there. People buy, incidentals there. People, walk into the inside of that gas station with their kids. And what was happening inside that gas station was a den of ill repute, and it no longer happens.
Do you all have an idea of how many of these businesses contribute to illegal activity in the community? Do you all have a list of those that you're looking at now? Well,
this one certainly tops the list. And is there a list? Are there businesses that cause communities concern? There are. And we're confident that when businesses who are trying to do the right thing, and the overwhelming vast majority of businesses operate with the best interests of this city at heart. So we're confident that if there are any businesses that are up to no good, that are complicit in criminal activity, that they'll perhaps look at this moment and pause and say, you know what, maybe it's time for us to get our act together. And we're willing to partner with those businesses. There may be instances where some businesses are fearful of reprisals if they try to take action, and we recognize that. We're not, not everything's black and white. There's shades of gray here. So we're willing to work with those businesses that are challenged by some of these issues, and we just want them to step forward and contact us and work with us and develop some solutions.
The instance that was captured on the video is not just a scared clerk looking the other way, right? The guy hit the gun under the counter, at least that's what it looks like. Are there charges being brought against him? Are there charges being brought against the other managers of the gas station?
So this incident took place in January, and all of the individuals in that scenario were arrested. And clearly, he knew what the operation was. This wasn't a scared clerk. He knew exactly what to do, as if they had practiced it in the past. So they were all charged with various crimes. It wasn't only guns that were seized, but drugs were also seized. Anything else?
And that was one employee who was charged?
That was one
And then
employee.
the same management continued to manage the operation until the padlocking now?
Yes. Okay. All right. Again, thanks to all the members of BUILD that attended, several more in the back that weren't able to come up front, and many members of the mayor's staff who contributed to this, and the police department staff as well. So thank you all. Obviously, media will replay the video for you, but get everybody out of here that is ready to go. All right.